Just a little bit of housekeeping while people come in. I'm going to repeat this later, but we're going to do something slightly different this year and have an interactive presentation so I can get a little bit of feedback from you. So if you could get out your cell phones, this is Kahoot if you've ever used it before, and you just need to scan that barcode like that, and it should then take you into this session. And the whole idea here is that this is not just a one-way presentation. I can gauge, how you're feeling. You can give me some feedback. I've got some poll questions for you as well. So I hope the Wi-Fi holds up. Just let me know. And I can see people are pinning in really nicely now. That's great. So just, if you have a second before I start, if you can do that so we don't spend too much time getting logged in. Thank you. Hopefully make it a little bit more engaging. Okay, we've got 86 of you are pinned in so far. This is good. Huh? Yeah, the Wi-Fi, I'm not sure how it's going to scale to all of these phones, but give it a go. The other thing I would warn you as well is if your phone goes to sleep, if you know how to, maybe turn off that sleep setting just for a bit, otherwise it will fall asleep and maybe disconnect. But it's just a bit of fun, don't worry. If it doesn't work for you, it's not the end of the world. All right, we've got 100, this is good. I'm going to kick us off fairly soon, I think. Now you can see in the bottom left hand of the screen there, the PIN number. So if you haven't got the QR code, you just go to www.kahoot.it and you can put in that PIN number and you can enter that way at any time in the session. All right. Then let's get started. Welcome everybody to Summer Camp 2026. Super exciting to be here. And actually, one of the first things I'm going to do before I even start talking is just connect you with our wonderful GotPhoto team, who are currently, we're based in Berlin, as many of you know. So we've got some people in the Berlin office that you can see on the screen there, as well as other members of the team scattered around the globe. But just really wanted to connect the team. We'd love all to be able to come here and spend time with you wonderful people every year at summer camp. That's not practical. So it's just really good for the team to be able to connect with you. So give a big wave to the team in Berlin if you could. I think Jana's got the camera over there so they can see you. And thank you so much to the team for joining. All right, let's jump in. We now have around about 100 participants, so this is great. I'm going to then kick us off. Okay, first of all, in a word, how are you feeling about Summer Camp 2026? So just use your devices, type in one word, and let's see how the room is feeling about Summer Camp. Some of us were lucky enough to get started yesterday on pre-con. I was part of a really fantastic session, loads of energy and great ideas. So I know certainly how I'm feeling, but I'm very curious to hear how you're all feeling this morning. It's pretty early, but you've all come a long way to learn. So let's see what your feelings are. Right, answers are coming in. I'm just going to pull this up now, and let's see. What have we got? There's one word that's the winner. Ready to rock, excited, confused, and excited is the big word. Good stuff, great stuff, excellent. Okay, so let's jump in. First of all, a few words, not too long, about me. For those of you who I don't know, my name's James, I'm CEO at GotPhoto. This is my second summer camp, and wow, how the world has changed in just 12 months. It's absolutely extraordinary. I'm sure you're feeling it as well, but for us as a software company, what's happened with AI literally in the last 12 months is extraordinary, and I've got some pretty exciting news to share with you on that topic. What a beautiful headshot that is. Not about me, it's about the headshot. So thank you very much to Heather, who took that headshot here at summer camp last year. So lucky me, I get a fantastic Heather headshot. And then these other pictures, what are they doing here? They're basically here to show you on a personal level how important I think this industry is. So this is me at high school. The sport I did was crew, and if you look at me, I don't look like necessarily the kind of guy who pulls oars. So yeah, I was the little guy at the back shouting quite a bit. And that was my team in high school. I was captain of the team, and the bottom right there, that's us at Henley Regatta, which is it's a pretty niche sport, but that's one of the premier rowing events in the world. And I guess it's a real testament to the importance of these photos that when we had a reunion at Henley, which is quite a few years ago, celebrating when I was actually in this team, it was these photos that did the rounds on WhatsApp, right? So it's these kind of emotions that just bring it all back, and that's why I think the industry that we're part of is very, very special. So enough about me. Why are you here? Well, you're all here to learn. It's very, very clear to me from everyone I speak to, you're here to learn, and you're here to learn because you want to grow. Ambitious people who want to grow their studios. And I think this stat is fantastic, that our data shows that the average summer camp attendee last year in 2025 grew by 17% compared to the previous year. And that is significantly higher than the average GotPhoto studio. So huge kudos for you for coming today, investing in yourselves. Thank you so much for being here. So we've got kind of three themes, I would say, that cut across this entire summer camp, and they very much guide us at GotPhoto in our thinking as well. And so these three themes are e-commerce excellence, and I think as many of you know, that's kind of what we're famous for as a software provider in the industry. We take that very, very seriously, and we like to think that's where we stand out against the competition. The second, and that's also, of course, about maximizing the sales that you get from the jobs that you already do. The second thing is all about a stress-free workflow. I have so much respect for you all for just, because I have a good understanding of what you go through every season. It's absolutely extraordinary, the amount of juggling that you do, all of the jobs coming in, everything from all different directions, from parents, from schools, so much going on. There's a lot of stress right there, and so we spend a lot of time thinking about how we can save you time and reduce stress, usually so you can take on more jobs. Some of you like to take a vacation, but most of you, I know, anytime you get, you just double down and take on more jobs, but that's entirely your choice. And then thirdly, scaling your business, which is a real theme that cuts across many of the conversations and some of the conversations we had yesterday. As you grow and take on more jobs, you need to think more systematically about how you win new jobs, and also you need to think about how you build a team, how you let go and you delegate. So those are the three themes for summer camp. And before we sort of jump in to each of those themes one by one, just to have a reflection, I'd be keen to know in the room, if you think about each of those three themes, what's your top priority coming to summer camp this year for growing your studio? You can just pick one of them, and it's totally fine if you say not sure yet, right? You're here to explore, but I'm just very curious to know which of those three themes resonate most with you in unlocking growth for your studio. All right, we've got a few. There we go. Okay, scaling your business is the winner. Stress-free workflow, and then e-commerce excellence. Very, very interesting. Okay, so scaling your business, fascinating. Thank you very much. That's helpful for me for guiding what I say as well, and what's coming up. So I'm sure you've looked at the agenda, but against each of those three tracks, I've just highlighted this is not everything, but there are so many great sessions this summer camp. Here are some of the highlights along the top there. I won't read them out against each of those areas, but reflecting on what you're trying to get out of it, as you answered in the last section, just check out the incredible sessions we have. And then in this keynote, in this presentation today, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time telling you about how we can help you, what we've either recently launched or what's coming up at GotPhoto to help you against each of these themes. All right, so let's start with e-commerce excellence, first of all. So, one of the topics that comes up very, very regularly when I talk to you all about performance and e-commerce performance is Is it me or is it the market? And that's a totally valid question. And so this is what the market data looks like for the spring season of this year. It's not quite finished, so the data's not fully complete, but it's a good steer on what we're seeing this season. As I think you all know, the way we think about e-commerce performance at GotPhoto, it's all about sales per subject. How much sales do you generate for every subject that you photograph? And that is a function of order rate or participation rate, some people call it, and the average amount they spend. And so the story this spring season, it's a little bit different from what we saw in the fall, actually, last year. Seems to be a different pattern between school and sports. So this is the average across all studios, all job types within them. So there's quite a lot going on under the hood here, but I think it's directionally interesting. Schools overall are up by 7% in sales per subject. Sports, on the other hand, is much more flat, just very slightly down at -1% in sales per subject per year. Just like last fall and last summer camp, what we tend to see is pressure on order rates, less in school but more in sports. But those who are ordering are spending more, around about 5% more than they were last year on each purchase that they make. So overall, what does that mean? What's the takeaway? The market, I mean, it's definitely not our friend right now. I think we know, and I said this last summer camp, the macroeconomics not super strong, but at the same time, I wouldn't say it's on fire either. So there's some tough headwinds in there, but I think the market is relatively stable.
Can you close the Google?
Yes, thank you. So the market is the market. I then want to introduce you to, I think, a concept that maybe not all of you are aware of that we think is very interesting, which is the top 10% club. Generally speaking, I think you all are going to be very likely to be part of this club rather than part of the average GotPhoto studio. You're here, you're invested, you come here, you're learning. But the takeaway here is these numbers on the right-hand side. The average is one thing, okay, that's interesting. But if you look at the top 10% of studios on the GotPhoto platform, they generate between about 2 and up to almost 4, depending on the job type, of sales per subject compared to the average studio. So really, there is an enormous amount, and I'm sure you all know this, that you can do as a studio to perform way above the average and certainly outperform the market. So let's do a quick poll on your spring season. Tell me how your spring season's been. Grab your devices, wake them up if you need to. Really simple, just 4 categories here. Are you on fire? Are you seeing like 25% or so growth? Are you seeing solid growth, pretty flat, or are you down compared to last year? Obviously, there's so many different dynamics for each studio. You've got your local dynamics as well, what's going on with your schools, but just curious to see the sentiment of the spring season in this room. Okay, quite a mix. So solid growth overall. Everyone's pretty happy with the growth, so congrats for that, but actually a significant minority on fire. Well done to those studios. And a similar number actually staying quite flat, but I'm really pleased to hear that it's significant, you know, it's very much the minority of you that are saying you're down compared to last year. Okay, so talking about e-commerce performance, as I said, we at GotPhoto spend a lot of time thinking about this. A little bit of education, if you will, hence the blackboard. This is the way we think about how you drive sales per subject. So first and foremost, it goes without saying, and as a product person myself, it's all about the product. It's about the pictures first and foremost. So you've got to have great pictures. And what we've learned is that's a function of quality, which is of course extremely hard to define and pin down, but also variety of pictures as well. That's very important in driving performance. And then once you've got the pictures, it's the formula I mentioned before. It's order rate times average order value. And the way we think about order rate at GotPhoto is breaking that down into login rate. That's the number of people who log into the store. And then secondly, shop order rate, which is of those people who log in, how many actually buy something. So let's start with picture quality and variety first. This may be very obvious for some of you, but the key thing here from our perspective is, yes, the foundation of everything is you shooting multiple poses that are very well lit and of a very high quality on the left-hand side. And then, of course, you will invest a lot of time in editing so that you can both increase the quality with processes like retouching, but you can also increase the variety as well with cropping. In addition, you can add variety to the pictures as well. So on our platform, we have background selection that just allows you to turn one pose into multiple different options, creates basically more in your catalog and fills up your store. And I'm happy to say we've launched a new feature actually, it'll be ready for the fall, that's called picture effects. which allows you to automatically, well, not automatically, it allows you to change a picture to black and white. So again, just to add variety to the poses that you've taken, to provide more choice and allow you to create great packages in the store. And then finally, of course, you can really add a lot of quality by creating what I like to call hero products. I think these are super important, and as we think about the future of the industry, keeping us relevant and competitive against consumer technology and consumer photography, hero products like memory mates really stand out for me. These are products that your average consumer simply couldn't make or would take absolutely ages for them to make. And here are some stats from the last season. Memory mates only offered in 35% of sports jobs, which I think is pretty interesting. I think that's maybe lower than it should be, given that in the jobs where they are offered, 42% order rate of memory mates. So that is a product that clearly consumers really, really love. So that's a little bit about photo quality variety, with mostly this is on you to deliver the quality, but we will do everything we can to help you add the quality. We have our own editing services as well if you choose to use them, and add variety as well. Let's also talk about a few insights, e-commerce insights from the last spring season. There's probably 3 themes I'd want to highlight. I've already talked about one of them a little bit, which is it's really helpful to know what your hero products are. So I won't talk again about memory mates, but we all know that Download All is one of the most popular packages. It's offered in 2/3 of price profiles of all photographers, and sees a pretty good purchase rate at 17%, given how expensive it is. So Download All is a key one. And then the top a la carte selling products, no surprises here I'm sure, individual downloads, 8x10 prints and 7x5 prints. So just knowing those hero products and then constructing your packages around those is absolutely key for e-commerce success. Then we come on to getting your packages right. Pricing and packaging is important. It's maybe less important than getting people into the store in the first place, because if you don't do that, they won't even see your packages. But packaging is key. 50% of orders in total include a package, and this is absolutely critical to driving AOV. Happy to say that on average, the average studio, GotPhoto studio, offers between 3 and 5 packages, and that when we look at the data, and that's our best practice, our advised best practice, we see higher sales per subject amongst the studios that offer 3 to 5. If you offer less, you get less. If you offer more, you get less as well. So that is the sweet spot at the number of packages, not too much choice for consumers. Interestingly, 60% of packages include print products only. And then for the average studio, packages typically start at around 25% across all studios, and the top tier is around $65 to $70 for a package. So packaging is key, and there are some great sessions at this summer camp to talk about packages. Finally, online by dinner time. You might have heard us talk about this before, but this is our belief in the importance in the world of proofing of getting those pictures up quickly. In school jobs in particular, we see a direct correlation. Sports tend to be faster anyway, but in school jobs, we see a direct correlation between the time between setting the pictures, shoot the picture day, and setting the pictures live for selling, and sales per subject. So really getting pictures up quickly does make a difference to consumers, because you're tapping into the emotion of picture day. The other thing that's been much talked about in the industry in the context of e-commerce is content protection. Many of you, I'm sure, will have a view on this, and there's been much discussion about whether this is impacting order rates. We've invested very heavily this year in content protection. We have a whole approach to it. There's a blog post, if you're interested in it, that we've called a layered defense, and that basically sets out our belief that there's no silver bullet here. This is just literally, in my view, the next phase of watermarks. There is no perfect solution, but this issue is real. We take it seriously because you take it seriously. And so we have a multi-layered approach of screenshot blocking, tactics on mobile, educating consumers. So now, for example, you may not know, you can turn on a consent modal in GotPhoto natively that just is a pop-up on mobile and desktop saying, do not steal our photos by taking screenshots, except to continue. So that's just education, and I think that can be as powerful, to be honest, as technical solutions. Meanwhile, we're updating our watermarks every season, making sure we get the balance right. I think in the past we've maybe gone too far and created watermarks that are too intrusive and actually take away from the beautiful pictures that you create. So we're constantly refreshing and updating those. I'm also excited to be partnering with Carl Bott and the SnapShield solution There's a session on SnapShield as part of summer camp. Carl will be here today as well. But for those of you who really want to double down on this topic, that's a great premium option with some excellent analytics. And there's an offer here for all of you at summer camp to get 1 month completely free to test SnapShield. Okay, so let's do a quick key takeaway. I've said a lot of stuff. Let's see how much has landed. This is a ranking question. So put these in order of priority. So move to the top of your screen, the most important, and then do them in order of priority based on what I've said. Which of these things should you prioritize first to maximize your e-commerce performance and get into the top 10% club? So we talked about a few things. The options are quality and variety of pictures with editing, marketing best practices to drive login rate, pricing and packaging, and taking great pictures with multiple poses. All right, 54 answers. They're coming in fast. And this is great feedback for me as well, to see if anything I'm saying is making any sense at all. Let's see. This is one of the tougher questions, right? Because there's many ways to get this wrong. Okay, 96. Let's do it. All right, yes. So 103 of you are wrong. So what I was saying in this one is that the foundation of everything is taking great pictures, right? The multiple poses. If you don't have that, yes, you can make more of it with the marketing, but that is the cornerstone. And then because actually the editing does the same thing, increasing the quality and variety of the poses, that's got to be the next thing because it's still a core product. Then, if you remember, I talked about login rate, right? If no one's getting into the shop, they're not going to see your poses or your packages. So you've got to focus on that first, making sure your communication profiles are on point, you've got SMS turned on, and you're maximizing the login. Then it's all about pricing and packaging, because that's the closing, right? But the way we see it at GotPhoto is this top of the funnel is super important. Don't forget that top of the funnel and focus entirely on pricing and packaging. Get the fundamentals in first, get people into the store first. All right, so wrapping up the e-commerce section, where are we going at GotPhoto on e-commerce? What's our vision for the future of e-commerce? Very simply, our vision is to have one shop, and that shop for every job supports proofing, monetization, or hybrid monetization. I'll talk about this a little bit more and what I mean by that, but essentially, as the name suggests, it's a combination of prepay and proofing, the best of both worlds. So that's why in this year, in 2026, we're focusing on one shop. It's been 2 years in a journey to build out our new shop. We're now focusing entirely on one proofing shop, and we've now, the team, because we've finished our rollout of the new shop, the team are actually able to work on this hybrid monetization initiative that I'm going to tell you more about in a second. Meanwhile, we have a classic traditional prepay offering as well. That means that what's in the rearview mirror, as you can see on this slide, is multiple proofing shops, prepay being available but not very widely used, and our hybrid monetization that we've called Prepay Plus being in beta version. The team are working on it now, and it's ready for you to test it this autumn. So let's talk about hybrid monetization. What on earth is this, and why do we think it's exciting? It's basically the best of both worlds, and the way I would summarize it is that it's prepay done right. So how does it work? Essentially, when you set up your job, you turn on Prepay Plus and hybrid monetization, and then the magic of this model is that it's essentially, from a marketing point of view, a double punch. So just like prepay is able to tap into the emotion of actual picture day before the proofs even exists, you do that. So you send out your link with the help of the school and the league, and any parents who want to, it's not mandatory, can order a picture day, potentially at a discount. You don't have to offer it at a discount if you don't want to. So that's marketing moment number one. And then marketing moment number two is what you're all most familiar with, the proofing moment. So once the proofing is through, then those who've prepaid, they come into the proofing shop and they select their poses. So the consumer experience is way better. They never receive a picture they haven't actually chosen. So the prepay orders come in and do the photo selection, and we upsell them. Meanwhile, a whole nother cohort of proofing customers who don't want to buy up front, they come in as well. So it's the best of both worlds, and you get kind of prepay levels of participation, and you get higher AOVs than proofing. So the numbers we're seeing in the test so far are pretty spectacular, which is compared to traditional prepay, Not proofing, it's too early to call on the numbers here, 30% uplift. So we think this is super exciting, and we think therefore the future of e-commerce monetization is either proofing or hybrid monetization, and we're super excited to test this with you in the fall season. Okay, one more recap question on hybrid monetization. Why does hybrid monetization beat traditional prepay? Based on what I just said, there may be more than one correct answer here. Let's see if hybrid monetization has resonated with you all. All right. There we go. Okay, so yeah, higher participation rate is actually 3 of those options. So more choice and a better consumer experience and higher AOV. But we believe fundamentally that multi-pose, and you have to shoot multi-pose to take advantage of this, is way more effective than single-pose traditional prepay. All right, that's theme number 1. I'm going to accelerate a little bit now and go into the second theme, stress-free workflow. I've talked about how much we empathize with the stress that you will feel in the busy season. And one of the ways we try and deal with this is what we call the GotPhoto ecosystem. Some of you will have seen this slide before, but the way we think about this, when we talk about workflow, we mean everything that happens before selling, and then e-commerce is the selling phase, and then fulfillment is what happens after that, getting the orders, including the prints, to the end consumer. And so the ecosystem means that we don't try and do everything ourselves. We know you all use multiple tools, and you like to use multiple tools and choose the best ones that suit your workflow. So we try and partner with the very best in the industry to integrate those solutions into GotPhoto and make that as seamless as possible. So you're not always switching, or the tools talk to each other as well as possible. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see how much work we put in over the last year with new partnerships, whether that's Air Studio, which is a CRM for larger studios, or on-site ID card printing with Halsys, for example, or we've improved our existing partnerships. But I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of our partners, including our amazing lab partners, for their collaboration, because that's what helps take some of the stress out of the season. Next, a quick word on NextGen. You will be aware of NextGen, but this is the ultimate stress reliever. We've made some changes, which is why I want to talk about it quickly now. First of all, by popular demand, it now supports up to 15 poses. That's more than before. But we've also overhauled our pricing and packaging with NextGen. So that there's really a range of offerings here where you can choose something that's incredibly cost effective, just 15 cents per graphic for the traditional NextGen, delivered within 24 hours, all the way up to the all singing, all dancing, absolutely beautiful virtual team composites as well, which are a little bit more from a cost point of view. But check out the profits here, for those of you not looking at this. There's a small upfront investment with NextGen, 40 bucks up to 200. This is on an average job, but based on the stats we see for the average job, you'll be taking home an extra $1,500 minimum on that job simply by using NextGen. So a little bit of upfront investment in NextGen can really reap the rewards in terms of the return. And also, of course, it's outsourced. You're not doing it. So it's the least stressful way to do your memory mates. Next up, editing. Again, we know a lot of you use editing, and there are loads of different solutions out there. Really excited by our partnership with IQ, with Perfectly Clear, who are here today. You may have seen that earlier this year we launched editing at upload. That basically allows you, in a batch process, completely automatically, when you upload your photos to GotPhoto, sends them off to Perfectly Clear, and they all come back color corrected. We're adding to those editing processes, and this is just the beginning. So for this fall season, we'll also be adding cropping and culling, all automatically. And what is very exciting, I think, is that working with Perfectly Clear, we've come up with a commercial model which we think is consistent with the way that the market, and let's be clear, specifically Avoto, are going. So all 3 of those processes, 4 cents an image, and we'll be adding more and more processes over time so that you can, if you choose, run all of your editing processes entirely through GotPhoto off to a third party without having to switch tools. Finally, where is the future of workflow going? This is something that we are very excited about. I talked about AI right up front in the beginning of this presentation, and Flash is a brand new workflow solution that we're working on right now and that you can have a chance to see. Again, there's a session on this at summer camp that puts AI at its heart. Essentially, it is an intelligent operating system that helps you scale and manage the crazy amount of stuff that you have to handle every single season. How does it do that? We have this concept called mission control, and we have agentic AI within that mission control layer, and it's incredibly proactive. It is unlike any volume software tool that's available on the market, including GotPhoto today, which is simply a tool that allows you to manage the issues with one particular job. And the more jobs you've got, the more issues you have, the more jumping around you have to do. Flash and mission control gives you the overview across all of your jobs. It's proactive, it catches problems before they cost you. It'll even surface selling opportunities so you can generate more income from jobs whilst you're in the throes of the season. And really tedious work like data collection, which is a constant huge theme that we hear, you can delegate that work to AI and it can really help you clean up your data and get your data into the space you need it to be to help you maximize sales. So we're super excited about Flash and we're very keen to hear your feedback. There's a demo session on Flash at summer camp. All right. One more question. What are the takeaways from Flash? What does Flash help you do? Win jobs, quickly respond to selling opportunities, take care of tedious tasks like subject management and data, and proactively manage the risks that are associated with your job. Like a no-show for an order, for example. More than one may be correct. I'm going to skip the timer because we're a little bit short on time. The answers are coming in. Great, exactly. So the one area, win new jobs, that's not really where our area of focus is. That's the human touch, right? That is what we believe. Taking photos and winning jobs, that's all about what you do. We can help with the rest. Okay, last but no means least, and of most interest to you all, scaling your business. Now, this is an area where you are the experts. We get this, and so that is why this community and this particular event are so important. We are so lucky to have our incredible brand ambassadors and our gurus that are here. I also want to say a huge thank you to each and every speaker at this summer camp, but also to all of you once again for coming, because this is where the magic happens. You know most about how to scale a photography business, much more than we do at GotPhoto, and by sharing your knowledge, this is the power of the GotPhoto community. So that is what summer camp is all about. In addition to that, where can we help as GotPhoto? We do have a fantastic team. So we have growth account managers for our larger customers. You can see them all here, and many of them you will know them very well. They are all about helping you understand your data, understand how you're performing, and working with you as a strategic partner to identify what are the levers that are going to help you grow most. In addition to that, for every GotPhoto customer, we have some great talent in what we call proactive customer care. Hannah's recently joined us from Photo Day. Hugo, many of us you will know as well. They are literally proactively looking at our data, reaching out to all of our customers to make sure that best practice is applied and to ensure that every single studio succeeds. So that's it for my introduction. Please remember to use the Summer Camp app. Another QR code here for you to zap if you want to, if you're not using it already. You get the agenda, you get to message with other attendees, you can even win prizes in the app as well. So we absolutely encourage you to use the Summer Camp app. And before I wish you a very, very successful summer camp, let's just celebrate our summer camp podium for this interactive presentation and see who got most points most quickly. So in third place, Kay Worsrick, give him a round of applause. Second place, Jason, where is Jason? And our winner of the keynote was Dave. Which Dave? Have we got a hand? Well done to Dave.